Hey, so we have another travel guitar for review on this one by Donna, and this one is the Hush Pro X, or X Pro actually, got that the wrong way around. Let me show you that on the thingy bob, can you see it? Maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, it's basically a travel guitar, compact size, all fits into this little case just here. Now what you end up with is basically, we'll do the guitar last and I shall show you all that's in the case. So everything fits in quite nicely, as you can see. And you end up with, oh, there we go, the frame which fits on the guitar. We'll show you that in a second. Another part of the frame. And then in this little pocket here, we have the standard Donna lead, which seems to come with every Donna guitar that you get. So that came with the last one that I reviewed and the one previous to that. So as one of those, you get, don't know what was in that. The, what's that? It's kind of like a, I don't know. That's just, oh, quick start guide, there you go, simple as. Probably won't need that, but little cleaning cloth, rather nice little touch. This one is the Donna Play, so it's an app that you can download to connect to the instrument. I'll try that and see what happens, but I'm not sure what goes on. Not such a quick start guide, but that will go into a bit more detail, you know, on about the guitar and setting it up, etc. Comes with a couple of plectrums, some extra little kind of grub screws, which I think are for the string clamping on that top end because it's a headless thing, and your truss rod adjustment as well. So that's all included. Everything all good. And some headphones, which these Donna headphones actually are really quite nice. They're almost like in-ear styles. Will it focus on those? I'm not sure. Let's get me out of the way. But anyway, these are actually really good. I've been using them from the Hush guitar which they sent through to me, and it comes with the adaptable earpieces as well, so you can fit it to any lug hole basically. So that's those, and they can plug straight into the guitar itself. So that is that pocket. Then the little bottom pocket comes with a Donna strap. How'd you get in it? Oh, I don't know, I can't do it. Alright, just do it the easy way. Pull it apart, get rid of that. Easily adjustable as well, so you've got this clip on here, or a clamp, where you can adjust it all, make it longer or shorter and stuff like that just by clamping it back down, much like a belt that you would wear around your trousers. So that is the strap. That is alright as well. Now the other part in there's only one more bit in there, and obviously the charging cable, which is USB-C. And then that's a little strap which goes on the case as well. Quite relevant for this video, I think, but there it is. Now the bit that we all want to see is the guitar itself. So here it is. This is the Donna Hush X Pro. Now it's again like a little cricket bat thing. Now I did end up snapping a string. Not sure what happened. I think it was a dodgy string, to be honest, because the ball end had just come unraveled. So I changed the string, so I've still got the wibbly bit at the end. But that was easy to do, and it's actually quite nice to be able to do that in the sense of understand how this end of it all works and that end of it all works. And it is really easy to restring it, put it that way. So you just thread it through the back, which goes through this little section here. Hopefully it focuses in. So the strings literally go through there, and then you thread them through as you would like a standard Strat, if you like. And then this is your tuner, which pulls the string or slackens the string, and then you can tune it from there. Oh yeah, and on that little cover you've got your Allen keys as well for adjusting your action and tightening up the top end there where the strings go in. So that is that part of the guitar. I'll get that set up and show you how that works as well. So this is the top one. So we just simply slot it into place like that. Oh, I say simply, I haven't quite, there we go. Simply slot it into place like that, and it clamps in with this kind of pull little bit on there. So that's not going anywhere, that's really good. And then this little section goes on the bottom exactly the same way. Just clamp it in and that's not going to come off. And that is your guitar. Let me come up a bit in the world. That's your guitar. So that sits on your leg comfortably. And I'll tune that up in just a second. But that's it, that's your Hush Pro. So I'll go into a bit of detail about what it's made of, the build quality of it, the way it was when I first received it. I've had to adjust the action and adjust the truss rod just a tad. But that's personal preference as well. So the truss rod I did need to adjust because the neck was slightly bowed, but you know, it's one of those things, not every guitar comes through perfectly. So but now it's adjusted, it's really nice, so I'm pleased with that. Yeah, so I'll do some sound samples and run you through a bit about the build quality, the feel of it, and what I actually think. Alright, there we go. Basically, this guitar is an all-in-one piece. There you go, apart from the electronic side, which is obviously a little bit plasticky, but it houses all of that gubbins in this tiny little body, so there's a lot in there when I get into detail. So the whole thing is mahogany, so it's all one piece mahogany. The neck itself, I don't know if that's incorporated in, so carbon fibre reinforcement rods, there you go. So it's a C-shaped neck, nice and comfortable actually all the way up, and you've got easy access to that 22nd fret on there as well. So that's actually really nice to get up to that 22nd fret if you are practicing, because you know you might want to use it, right? Whereas some guitars that I've played, you can't even access the 20th fret, let alone so you've got 22 frets, as I just said. It is basically a humbucker and a single coil, so they've both got covers on. Is it coil tapped? I'm not sure, I don't think it is, but within the system itself you can select whether you're using a Strat or a Telecaster or a Les Paul, or I think there's a hollow body on there as well. I'll go more in detail when I switch this on, which actually works quite well, and acoustic as well. There's acoustic models which are okay. So the fingerboard is a roasted maple, so it is a separate fingerboard. So you've got mahogany back and body, or one piece, and then the fingerboard is that roasted maple as well. So it's all pretty good quality stuff, you know. You're not actually, they're not scrimping on materials, although there's not a lot of it because it's so small. Fret edges, as the same as the Hush guitar, not the Hush X Pro. The fret edges basically are really smooth. They're quite rounded, slightly shy of the fretboard edge, so there's no risk of any sharp edges on there. So that's exceptionally cool. So as I've already said, strings go through the back, out through the saddle tops, and then over to this end here where they're clamped in, and then you can snip off the excess, which I haven't done just yet. Now, it's a travel guitar, so it's not going to be overly comfortable when you're sitting down with it, although with the bars on there, it does make it feel, you need this one here just to rest your arm on. I think that makes a massive difference. And obviously this one to rest it on your leg and elevate it slightly. But you could put the strap on and have it so that you're just playing it with a strap. That in itself is quite comfy. It's what I've been doing around the house. Now, the sockets on this side, we have the jack socket for going to your amplifier. You've got your charging port, your USB-C, and your headphone out as well. Now, the headphone out so far sounds good. You know, if you're jogging through, or just sort of like meandering through your house and playing guitar just silently, and you want to have silent practice, the headphones that come with it are great. It all feels really solid, it feels quality, to be honest, on its own. So playing it acoustically, albeit I need to tune it, so I'm going to do that now. So to turn it on, press that button and it all turns on. You see that little light come on, hopefully, and then that gives you your display live. Now I'm going to press and hold the flashing button, which is, can't see it with my glasses on, tap and tuner, and that brings us into the tuner. So to tune it up, I'm going to drop D for some reason. I think I was playing The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. So then that's going to be really responsive tuners. I know it's not that much fun watching somebody tune, but you can see how well it goes. There we go. Right, simple as, that's it. So hopefully you can hear that. Obviously your lack of body is going to give you less resonance through that body itself, because it's not there to resonate through. So in that sense, it's relatively quiet as an acoustic instrument, which you would expect. Now, as soon as we plug it in, you can use it without the effects on there, which I'm going to do first off. I'm just going to go into bypass mode. So I'll show you all this in detail in a sec, but I've just turned that so it goes to bypass, and it clearly states that on the screen. Now, when I go into bypass, it should, in theory, act just like a standard guitar. You've got your volume, your tone, your three-way pickup selector switch, and this one goes through the presets on basically your guitar when you've got that engaged. Now, let's... So this is a kind of clean-ish sound. So volume's up full. Let's go with this one. So I'm on the neck pickup on that one. So if I go straight through to the bridge, middle, so that's going to be the humbucker and the single coil at the same time. Not bad, right. So if I put a bit of grit on that, so that's in bypass mode, just using the pickups as you would standard guitar. So on this guitar you have A, B, C, D, E, F, and then back to A again. They are kind of like your banks, as it were. Then you end up with 3 patches per bank. So, and that is all done by a little push of, there we go, if I show you that in one slot, push of that little switch there, and that changes each one of those banks, patches within the bank. So on A1, you can see that we're just using an amp only because it's indicated by that little bit there. So no drive, no effects, no tone as in an amp sim of any sort, and no delay and no reverb. Now, if I was to turn this around so we were on tone, I could select Strat, Telecaster, Les Paul, what's that, a jazz guitar? That's going to be an acoustic, another acoustic, and another acoustic. So that's going to be the Dreadnoughts and stuff like that. Or normal, which is just using this guitar sound as it is. Now, if I wanted to add effects onto the patch that we're already on, so the effect is off at the moment, but if I turn this down, you see that goes to CH, which is going to be chorus. So if I click on that, then it gives you the values for the chorus. So you've got your rate and volume, etc. So as you would with the standard kind of pedal setup. Now, to access these, obviously you hover over the area that you want to change, or the parameter you want to change, and then you push down on that button there, and then you can change the amount of effect, the rate, etc, etc. So that's really easy. Now to get back, you just literally, well, you could go back by turning this, and then that effect is then applied. So that's on there. Now you can see that it's got effect on there. If you want to add a little bit of an amp sim, so we can go into the amp and cab, and then twin dark AC30 star, I guess that's black star, I'm not sure. AC30 TB, don't know what that is, I should look at the manual really. Then you've got a UK JCM 800s or a 50 watt vintage JCM 900s, Soldanos. There's so many on there. Mr. Boogie's EVH 5150, I guess that is. What's that going to be? VH5 or VHS? Don't know. Acoustic preamps and cab sims. So it's all on there, ready to go. It's just a case of trying to sort of, I guess, dial in a tone which you're happy with, or if you like the presets, you can always change those as you go on. But it's as simple as that to dial in an effect. I'm not going to go too far into this because there's a lot on here and it'll be one long, boring video. Ah, there you go. There's a problem there, isn't there? I've just switched it. So in conclusion with this, let's get the hair out of the face. In conclusion with this, basically you end up £400 as they are now, just over. I've just pulled that out. Whoops. You end up with something which has got everything you need to practice with on the road, in hotels, maybe in my case at a cricket match whilst your son's playing cricket for a whole flipping day. You've got something there which has everything in that you need. So all your effects, acoustic settings, electric settings, all the guitars, Strats, Les Pauls, Tellys, the whole lot. Everything is there that you need. Headphone out, not going to disturb anyone. Bluetooth, so you can put your music along and play to backing tracks, etc. You know, it's pretty in depth. There's a lot in there, far more than I've touched the surface with today because just the length of video. So I've given you some sound demos and they all sound pretty good. That is, I haven't messed about with those settings. That is the factory settings. So all in all, value for money, build quality, it all seems pretty good. Now a couple of down points, I must point these out because I want to be honest for you guys. When I received this guitar, I started obviously playing it and bending the strings about as you do. Now the sort of 0 fret, it kept clicking as I was bending and adding vibrato on, especially around this lower area because it's kind of close to it, right? But it was clicking on that third string, the G, and found out, lifted the string away, and there was a slight little kind of notch in the fret itself. Now I would imagine that is through transportation, because when I received the box it was slightly bent. So I would imagine it's nothing to do with the workmanship and the quality control that comes out of the factory. So I have to mention it though, just because you may end up with something the same if it comes from China and you're in America, or England, or somewhere in Europe anyway. But it was annoying, one of those things. I thought, oh man, right, okay. So I got some abrasive emery board, and I rubbed it down, got the notch out, and then I polished it off. So I gave it a little fret dress just on that one. Didn't take long, took about 10-15 minutes roughly, and that's sorted. That's all done, so there's no problem. The other problem I had is the neck was slightly concaved. I think that is when it goes like that, yes. So I had to adjust that, but it's kind of a living material, isn't it, wood? So breathable material, so it's affected by the elements, and this was in transit all the way from China anyway. So that was one thing I had to do. Haven't had to do that with any of the guitars I've reviewed so far. And when I was playing it a minute ago, the B slipped. Now I'm not sure whether it slipped up here, so I'm just going to check all that in a second. And I would say disclaimer for you guys is to try, or a caveat for you guys, not caveat, observation for you guys, there you go, is to make sure these are all done up tight enough. So I shall update on that at a later date, but apart from that, it's been really good since I've been playing it. I've had it a couple of weeks now, used it for teaching, I've played it a lot, and haven't had any issues since I set it up and sorted that fret out. So that was that. For £400, everything you need. You can't really go wrong, can you? There you are. I'll leave you with that thought, and if you want to buy one, there'll be a link below. There you go. It is a sponsored video, but I'm not obliged to say anything good or just good about it anyway. Obviously it's a guitar review, so I've given you an honest review of this guitar. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you want one, it's in the link below. Nice one. See you later everyone. Bye.